This is Dion, Code Pioneers. In today's video, I'll be showing you an easy and fun way to learn CSS. So right now I'm at flukeout.github.io. If you go there, you'll find this nice little CSS diner game that teaches you how to target elements on a web page. Now, if you're interested in web development and learning some of the languages that make up the web, like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, definitely subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button so you can get more content like this. So this game is pretty straightforward here. And again, it's really teaching you how to target the elements, and not specifically the styling of it itself. So let's look at this here. Here you type in a selector, and in those brackets, if this was a web page you were working on, you would add the styles there. So they want us to select the type of selector here. And you'll notice it's because it's a game, it's not going to use actual like HTML elements you would see on a website. I mean, you would definitely see a div with a class, a table, or something like that. But plates is not a normal HTML element you will see, but to stress the point, it uses plate. If we just type it there and hit enter, it will select the plate, like if that was a element on the web page. And then the same thing with the bento boxes here. Again, the directions are here, and if we select just the bento box element by typing the element, the name of the element, and just hit enter, it'll select those. So that's pretty much how it starts off. Starts off easy. There's 32 levels to this game, and you know, it gets tougher as you go along. So now let's select an ID here. It wants us to select the fancy plate. So it's it has an ID fancy. So we'll use ID by saying hashtag fancy. So that's how you would select or target an ID. Now they want us to target a descendant selector. And so what they're saying here is this apple on this plate. So here's that element here. And you notice how on this game, it kind of highlights the element, which is pretty cool. So if we want this apple inside of this plate, to select the descendant of that, we first will have to start with the parent element, which is the plate, and then space apple. And that follows this format, this AB. And if we hit enter, it selects the apple that was in or on the plate. Now we want to select the fancy pickle on the plate. So let's see here. So we want the ID of fancy, right? So hashtag fancy, and the element that it is a parent of is this pickle. So we put pickle. There it goes. We're pretty good at this game. All right, select the small apples by using the class selector. So again, this game isn't teaching you how to lay out a web page or, you know, how to position elements, but mostly how to target them. So to target the class of small, dot small. All right, select the small oranges. All right, so that's tricky because they're small apples too. So here we want to use what they're saying here, the element, and no space in between, but the class right next to it. So the element is orange, and we want the class dot small. And we got those. All right, it says you can do it. Put your back into it. Combine what you learned in the last few levels to solve this one. All All right, select the small oranges in the bentos. Okay, so first let's start with the bento, which is the parent. And then we want the oranges, which is the child of the bentos. The small oranges is in there, and dot small. Good. All right, so select all the plates in the bentos by using the combinator. So when you use a comma like that, let's see here, we want all the plates and we want all the bentos. So plate, comma, space, bento. And that's how you grab multiple elements at the same time. All right, select all things. This is like by far the easiest selector in all of CSS. So we'll just use the little asterisk there. And let's see. There we go. And we selected all things. We're doing pretty good with this here. All right, combine the universal selector. Wait, what did it say? Select everything on a plate. All right, so we want plate and this asterisk here. So we want plate and space, everything that's on or in a plate. Very cool, right? So we're doing pretty good with this game. Not bad, level 12. We got 20 more levels to go. Select every apple that's next to a plate. So this is an interesting concept in CSS, the adjacent sibling selector, where you use a plus sign here. So we want every apple that's next to a plate. So to get next to something, let's start with the plate. And you see it gives you examples. Give us a plus sign and then the apples that are next to the plates. Not bad. All right, select the pickles beside the bento. And this is the general sibling selector. So it selects elements that follows another element. And you may be, wondering, do you ever really need all of this stuff? And you just never know what type of website you're going to run into. And you have to style elements that, you can't change the HTML of it. Maybe it's being dynamically put onto the web page and you can't change it to make it easier to target. So you have to use stuff like this just to target the elements you want. All right, so the adjacent selector here, let's do pickle. And we'll go with, where's the little tilde, pickle. And we got the adjacent selectors there. Select the apple directly on a plate. So this is the direct child of an element. Yes, this gets used every so often. So in this situation, we want the plate and we want only the plate that has an apple that's like right there. We don't want this type of stuff here where you're going through a bento and then an apple. We want the apple to be the direct child element of it. So that will give us, oh, I misspelled apple. And that gives us that there. All right, select the top orange. So now we're getting into pseudo selectors. So the first child here, and it's not too bad. We just want the orange and colon, like it's given us in the example, like this P colon first child. But we're using orange colon first child. And that's going to give us that. So now we're like halfway through this thing. Only child pseudo selector. You know, some of these I forget about, and this is actually a good review for me because I use a lot of CSS at work trying to target elements that are difficult to get to sometimes. So let's go in here. And first we want an apple. And let's see, and we want the only child of this apple here. I'll select the apple and the pickle. So we need to use this comma combinator here. And the pickles are on a plate, so we need the plate to be like the parent here. And then we can like actually select the pickle and do an only child to get to it. I mean, you run into this stuff for real. Like, really you do. So that was level 16. And I think I'm going to stop right here. This is the halfway point. But you get the point here, right? This really teaches you how to target specific elements in CSS. So, I don't know. It gets harder as you go on. I might do the rest of these because it gets difficult. And if you're not using CSS a lot, level 17 through 32 can get really complicated. So I'll probably make a part 2 to this video. I wanted to keep this kind of short just to introduce you to the game. And I'll put part 2 out with the solutions to that as well. So if you like this video, go ahead and give me a like, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you are not subscribed to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.